Hello and welcome to this video. Before we get started with this latest election, the latest election results, let's just go ahead and I just want to congratulate Donald Trump for winning this election. Um, we should have seen it coming, and I should have seen it coming because Kamala Harris, she was making the same mistakes Hillary Clinton made, and she's starting to sound like Hillary Clinton, and we know what happened in 2016. So basically, this is a repeat of 2016. Very similar repeat to 2016. Trump defeated Harris by a good margin in the Electoral College as well as in the popular vote. Um, and everybody acted surprised, just like 2016. We should have seen it coming. Um, we should have seen it coming because Kamala Harris did not address the crime. She did not address the illegal immigration. She really didn't even address the economy. She was basically talking about democracy and abortion rights. And she was making some mistakes that we should have seen, that I should have seen. She was also trying to connect a lot with corporate donors. This is the problem with the Democratic Party in general, that they've become very connected to Wall Street in a way, and disconnected. Trump may be Trump may say some absolutely terrible things, but people can relate to him. Versus Kamala Harris and the way she talks to people, and should have seen it. I should have seen it. I should have realized with all the illegal immigration going on in this country, and that Kamala Harris was the vice president when that was going on, that people were going to turn on her because of that. Um, should have seen it. I should have seen it. But I congratulate Donald Trump. Let's accept the results of the election. I know Kamala has yet to concede. We still don't know control of the House yet. Senate Republicans have gained a majority in the Senate. So people obviously sending a message that they are fed up with the illegal immigration that's been going on in this country. Um, and Unfortunately, all those other things like democracy, like the environment, like equality, those unfortunately go out the window because the Democrats have failed on immigration and they have failed on crime. You look at bail reform, people see what's happening in New York and California with the lawlessness. And again, they see Trump talking about it and the Democrats not talking about it. The Democrats just say, oh, we're the safest country yet. But I'll tell you, it doesn't feel safe. Um, People think, do you feel safer when Donald Trump was president? And I hate to say it, but yes, I did feel safer. Um, I did. Things got a lot worse in 2021 and 2022 here in the middle of the island. The criminals started coming in. The illegals are here. All those things. Um, all those things. I should have seen it coming. I should have seen it coming. But I didn't. Maybe I was drinking the Kamala aid, maybe. But what do you call it? The blue age. I don't know. But look, I'm worried. I'm still very worried about what's going to happen. I'm still worried that about the Project 2025 stuff. That's the stuff that really scares me. And if he tries to push that through, I'm worried about the state of this country and what's going to happen. Um, but For now, congratulations to Trump, and let's hope he keeps his word on getting these illegals out of here. All right, because that's I think the big reason why he won. Just like in 2016, people were fed up with their towns being infested with these illegals. Um, yes, they take our jobs. They bring crime. They bring disease. They bring debt. And this is what people got fed up with. So I think that honestly, I worry about the future of this country when you look at the kind of people that Donald Trump wants to put in office. People like Elon Musk who are, I know the environment is going to suffer. I'm worried about public transportation. I'm worried about a lot of stuff. Um, I'm worried about a lot of stuff that could happen. I really am. But let's go ahead and look at the news. And again, congratulations to Donald Trump. He won this. And Unfortunately, you have to respect what the people's choice. Despite all of what he said and all the terrible things that have come out of his mouth, um, he's going to be the next president of the United States, and we have to accept that. And, uh, I hope our country can survive. Let's go ahead and look at some of the news. So let's look at the news here. The latest, the votes and everything else. Trump elected 276 electoral votes to Kamala's 223. And we go over here. You'll see here the popular vote. He also won by a pretty sizable margin here. Yeah, well, 50.9 to 47.4. That's pretty sizable. I mean, 3%. I'm not going to say it's not a close election, but definitely, and you can see a lot of states got flipped as well. A lot of states got flipped because of this. So, and again, like I said in the other video, this is what the people have chosen. So, as Trump sweeps aside Harris, Democrats search for answers, and it's very similar to the 2016 election. Very similar. Very similar. So here's what Trump says he'll do in his second term. From immigration to retaliation, Trump's return to the White House has promised widespread changes to the way America is seen on the world stage. So Republicans will also control the Senate, giving Trump a clear path in the upper chamber to enact policies and fill key slots in his administration, but the race for the House is extremely close. Republicans are hoping for a trifecta, but a Democratic win could provide a check on Trump's agenda. Immigration repeatedly said he will seal the southern border and launch what he calls the largest deportation in American history, invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, last used during World War II to help make that happen, deporting more than 11 million illegal immigrants living in the country. I said illegal. They like to use the word undocumented. Living in the United States will cost the United States billions of dollars and require staffing increases to the tune of tens of thousands of people. As NBC News has reported, his team is also considering withholding federal police grants from local law enforcement agencies that declined to take part in the deportations. On the topic of immigration, Trump said he will end catch and release, which I agree with. That needs to be ended. Restore, remain in Mexico, and bring back Title 42, a restriction from his first administration that turns away migrants who arrived illegally and does not allow them to seek asylum in the name of public health. And I agree with him on that, too. Trump said he also will send Congress a bill to ban sanctuary cities. I don't think anyone should be... I agree with that. I don't think we should have sanctuary cities in this country. He intends to ask Congress for funding, hiring 10,000 new border agents and an approval for a 10% raise for existing agents, as well as a $10,000 retention and signing bonus. Yeah, we need to do something to secure our border, and Democrats have failed with that, and that's why they lost this election. He's also going to go after the assets of criminal gangs and drug cartels and use those assets to provide compensations for the victims of violent crime. He called for the death penalty for any migrant who comes into the U.S. and kills U.S. citizens and law enforcement officials. He's also promised not only to bring back his controversial travel ban targeting certain Muslim-majority communities, and struck down by courts, but also a ban to include refugees from the Gaza Strip and certain ideological screenings for all immigrants. On reproductive rights, a central issue in this election, Trump has said he would veto a federal abortion ban. But he wants to leave it up to the states, basically. All right. On the economy, Trump said he will end inflation and plan to pass what he calls historic tax cuts for workers and small businesses. He said that will include no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security benefits, and a tax credit for family caregivers who take care of a parent or loved one. Trump said he will work with each tech mogul, Elon Musk, to eliminate every single federal regulation that raises prices and kills American jobs. On the topic of regulations, Trump has promised to end 10 federal regulations for each new one created. And this is the stuff that scares me. Trump said he will keep in place the Affordable Care Act, though. But he said he will also sign an executive order directing every cabinet secretary and agency head to target inflation as a key priority. We will target everything from car affordability. I'm not saying this scares me. I'm just worried about the implications for the environment. We will target everything from car affordability to housing affordability to insurance costs to supply chain issues.
I will instruct my cabinet that I expect results within the first 100 days or much sooner than that. Trump has also promised that under his administration there will be no tax on the first $10,000 of costs associated with education for parents of children who are homeschooled. He has promised American companies will get the lowest taxes, the lowest energy rates, and the lowest regulatory burdens and free access to the single best and biggest market on the planet. To that point, he wants to lower the corporate tax rate to 15%, which is where it is now at 20%, and he said he will impose a 10 to 20% tariff on all important goods. That's what scares me, as well as a tariff of between 100% and 200% on all businesses from countries that don't use U.S. dollars as their reserve currency. This prioritization of America first is one that extends to every part of Trump's platform. And I know he wants to bring manufacturing back, obviously. He said that the last time. In September, Trump called for reinstating the state and local tax deduction, commonly known as SALT. In 2017, Trump signed the legislation that capped the previous unlimited federal deduction at $10,000 per filler. The policy hit people in blue states the hardest. Even though Trump signed that measure, he has pledged to undo it. Okay. Environment. For cars made in the United States, Trump said he would make the interest on car loans fully tax deductible. He said he would terminate an electric vehicle rule published by President Joe Biden's administration in March that makes EVs more available and affordable over the next several years and makes it more difficult for gas-powered cars to keep up with an increasingly stringent Environmental Protection Agency standard. Trump also, once again, wants to withdraw from the Paris Agreement. Without providing a plan as to how he'll make this happen, Trump has said he will cut consumer energy prices in half within 12 months of taking office. We were energy independent 4 years ago, Trump frequently reminded his supporters at rallies, promising the use of fracking and drilling. Yeah, he wants to drill, baby, drill, of course. We're also hoping to lower housing costs by building on the periphery of cities and suburban areas where land is cheapest, canceling what he calls Biden's anti-suburban housing regulation. On foreign policy, Trump said he will end the war in Ukraine. First, I'll meet with Putin. I'll meet with Zelensky. They both have their weaknesses. Trump also plans to stop the chaos in the Middle East and prevent World War III. Culture wars. Trump leaned heavily into the anti-transgender rhetoric during his campaign, and this is the kind of stuff that scares me here. On day one, he'll sign an executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, he calls, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the shoulders of our children. I will not give one penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. He wants to get rid of the education department as it currently exists and allow each state to individually handle education. We'll have one person plus a secretary, and all that person has to do. Are you reading English? Are you reading arithmetic? Trump also plans, as he called it, to keep men out of women's sports and ban gender-affirming care for minors. In May, Trump became the first president in history to be convicted of a crime. That's right. He's still a convicted felon, by the way. He continues to face legal jeopardy in federal and state cases, although they will likely be dismissed now that he's won the election, because he has presidential immunity, as the Supreme Court has ruled. Trump has made his belief that he is the victim of political persecution a centerpiece of his campaign, and he frequently promised retribution for his enemies. In fact, since he entered the 2024 ends, Trump has called for the criminal prosecution of at least 16 rival politicians and 15 law enforcement, military, and intelligence officials. This is the stuff that's scary. This is the fascist kind of stuff that scares me. Trump said he believes the sitting and former members of Congress who were part of that committee investigating the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol, including Representative Jimmy Raskin and former Representative Liz Cheney, should be prosecuted for what he calls their lies and treason. He also plans to appoint a special prosecutor to go after Biden and his family. Special counsel Jack Smith, appointed by Attorney General Merrick Garland, is also expected to be relieved of investigative duties. I would fire him within 2 seconds, Trump said of Smith. Trump increasingly whitewashed the January 6th riot, going from calling it a heinous attack in the immediate aftermath to a day of love by the end of his campaign. He said he wants to pardon many of the prisoners who were arrested, charged, and found guilty of the crimes. Trump has also repeatedly expressed interest in jailing journalists if they don't disclose sources who leaked information to them. He also wants anyone who desecrates the American flag to face a 1-year jail sentence. So this is the kind of fascist stuff that I'm concerned about. All right. Obviously, this is we're still waiting for Kamala Harris to concede, but I figured I'd read you that article here. This is what the American people have chosen. It was the Democrats' race to lose, and once again, they failed to convince the American people that Donald Trump was going to be a bad choice. They failed, and should have seen it coming. Should have seen it coming. Harris is expected to call Trump to concede the race. She just started making all the same mistakes that Hillary Clinton made. It's 2016 all over again. Of course, Wall Street is just loving this. No surprise. The Dow was up over 1,000 points. We're breaking records on the NASDAQ too. Wall Street's just loving this. They're just celebrating, and they're going to be really living it up. As you know, Wall Street's going to celebrate, and a lot of us, I fear, are going to be suffering some of the hardest 4 years of our lives. That is my concern. But hopefully, the Trump supporters, and including some of my friends who think my life will be better, I hope they're right, and I hope I'm wrong. Thank you for watching.